Hey, you geeks! In all my reverie at discovering the Witcher series, I never gave The Last Wish a proper review. Until now. Without spoilers, I enjoyed this book. I'm always leery about short story collections. If the stories are good, they often leave me wanting more, like having an appetizer that awakens unknown hunger. If the stories are bad, then it's like reading a literature anthology from middle school. No one enjoys that. However, Sapkowski uses a framing story in this work, making it one long story with a sufficient payoff to sate my hunger. The other concern I had was that I wasn't sure how a short story collection would set up an entire epic fantasy saga. Other epic fantasy series that integrate short stories seem to use them to answer bonus questions from the main story, like depicting happily ever after for the heroes or going back so far that none of the heroes are even alive yet in their world. The Last Wish doesn't do either. It is really more of a compilation of inciting incidents for the main character relationships of the series, while also exploring the world. This gives the reader a sense of the vast nature of this world without dragging them through miles and miles of boring woodland. Overall, I recommend this book, but it will hook you for the rest of the series. Be warned. Spoilers review. So, I wasn't expecting this book to start with a sex scene, or shortly thereafter Geralt to kill 3 thugs in a bar, since his character is known for only killing monsters. The story does break the fourth wall a bit and addresses it, saying that the killing was just for shock value. I'm all for exciting beginnings, but sensual descriptions of women don't excite me, and actions that are directly contrary to a character's overall nature doesn't make for a good introduction. Now, we all know that Geralt is not a saint, but he's also not usually a casual murderer. After the beginning, it gets better. World building. Sapkowski does a great job of building this world within the context of the belief system and knowledge of its people. His world's religion is an extension of classical European paganism, which flows naturally into its monsters and magic system. The casual connection between gods, religion, magic, science, and monsters unifies this world, making it not only realistic and understandable, but also captures the feel of the classical and early medieval world. Characters. Each story was an intentional exploration of certain characters. Geralt. The first 3 stories focus entirely on Geralt and his trouble killing monsters, often posing the question,
who is the monster and who is the man?
Yes, I love that song. But Sapkowski and Disney share other features that I'll explore later. Seeing Geralt struggle as a social outcast who is just trying to do the right thing makes him a compelling protagonist. He is the first protagonist I've read that is a full adult and isn't learning new skills. He is just struggling to apply his skills to the real world and do the right thing. His normally outward calmness creates a humorous contrast with all the strange things about him. Nenneker. I don't know why Netflix, in its quest to include strong female characters, left out Nenneker. She is the boss! Head priestess of Melidula, knowledgeable herbalist, and the voice of reason. She's also so relatable. I know many women who rule their lives exactly the same way. Now, she's not the most alluring or scheming of characters, but women aren't only sultry temptresses, manipulative dogs, or victims. There are women like Nenneker who are mother hens.
Pick a little, talk a little, pick a little, talk a little, cheep, 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 talk a lot, pick a little more, pick a little, talk a little, pick a little, talk a little, cheep, 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 talk a lot, pick a little more, pick a little, talk a little, pick a little, talk, cheep, 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 talk a lot, pick a little more, pick a little, talk a little, pick a little, talk a little, cheep, 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 cheep.
And the queens of their roost. Why do these women always get cut from progressive adaptations? Dandelion, the wingman. When your protagonist never seems fazed in the heat of the moment, it's important to have a character who reacts. Dandelion plays this role well. From the edge of the world to the last wish and the voice of reason, he's there to worry about Geralt's sanity when our hero seems to have no regard for it. Yennefer. Sapkowski introduces Yennefer in two ways. First, in the framing story, when Geralt wishes he was lying with her and how he messed up their relationship. Then we meet her again in The Last Wish when Geralt meets Yennefer for the first time. The reader is told how she is
perfectly tolerable, I dare say. Not handsome enough to tempt me.
Without the lightning strike of insta-love, we get to see Geralt fall in love with Yennefer for her cleverness and innermost desire to help.
Lilacan.
Gooseberries.
The reader gets to learn these traits about her for ourselves. Meanwhile, the framing story promises much more from these two and teases just how far their relationship will go. Plot. It's hard to summarize the plot of a short story collection. Each story has its own little plot, and many are retellings of classic fairy tales. Unlike Disney, Sapkowski makes them darker and more disturbing. The Sapkowski Princess Collection is full of monsters. These clever stories all have their own satisfying conclusion, while the whole book sets up the greater saga.